Following is a production of Locked Up Sports.
Everybody, this is Don LaGreca from the Michael K. Show. When it comes to talking sports, Bob Walters and Brett Grasso are the authority.
Can't wait.
When it comes to talking sports, they're the authority. It's Bob Walters and Brett Grasso. It's Locked Up Sports, and it starts now.
Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Hey, bring them out.
Here we go. Bob Walters, Brett Grasso, from the Brian Gunzel Studios. This is Locked Up Sports. We got a big one on deck for you here today. FAU is still dancing. Will the clock strike midnight today for Princeton? USA loses the World Baseball Classic. And we're joined by Scott Ferrall, nationally renowned talk show host, sports talk radio host. Brett, welcome to the show. Are your brackets busted?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even look after last night. Last night's the first night I didn't even bother looking. But they're all busted.
They're all busted. You know, there was there were 20 million brackets submitted to Yahoo, CBS, and ESPN. Not a single perfect bracket made it past one day. Made it past one day of the tournament last week.
That's incredible.
It's crazy. And I was there last night. It was two good games. Listen, that first game was a great game. That Kansas State, that number one, Noel, he was the best player on the floor. Then for him to go down with the injury, he couldn't put any weight on the leg, and then comes back with a great performance.
They're talking about like an all-time MSG performance
on the week that we lost Willis Reed.
I know
he pulled the kind of Willis Reed at the Garden. And
that was really an incredible game.
He was by far the best player on the court, and you could see it. And when he went out, I was like, "Oh no, that's it for Kansas State." Came back about maybe 5-10 minutes later and just dominated the game. And then in the second game, FAU, they're still dancing. Princeton is going to have a shot. Maybe we get a FAU Princeton, two teams running into the Final Four.
Really, that would be pretty amazing stuff.
FAU looked outmatched in the first half. Tennessee was just the better team. They just looked like they were going to, overpower them. And then just the bottom fell out for Tennessee in the second half.
They didn't get blown out. They were only down. They kept it within 5, 7. Yeah, it was like right in there. And, that's the thing. Like, the score wasn't reflecting exactly how bad it was going for them early. They were keeping in the game. And that second half, man, they just started rebounding.
Well, neither team could hit shots. It was two opposite games. The first game, nobody could miss. The second game, nobody could hit.
They were like plus 10 on rebounds, plus 12 on rebounds. And it's, that's what's going to get you.
And the kid Noel in the first game, I forgot to mention, set the all-time record, 19 assists in a single NCAA tournament game. That's an all-time record he set last night. So, I mean, that kid
he's averaging 20 and 10.
Yeah, listen.
For the tournament.
You
not 10 and 10. There's only a couple guys that did 10 and 10.
20 and 10.
No, but 20 and 10.
Yeah.
Averaging.
And if you never saw him play before ever, and you sat at that game, you could just tell that he was the best player on the court last night. And hey, listen, in the other games, you got UConn blowing out their game. They blew out Arkansas. That was never close. And then the wild one, which was the late game, the UCLA Gonzaga, where Gonzaga was down big, then they came all the way back, then UCLA was down big, and Gonzaga almost threw the game away in the last minute or so.
I was getting ready for bed and turning the game off with a minute left.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, this is good. All right, done. Thank you.
And what happened was Gonzaga couldn't hit their free throws. They couldn't hit free throws, and there were turnovers. They were throwing the ball out. It was crazy. But so then today we got the second half of the Sweet 16. Tomorrow and Sunday is the Elite Eight. When the smoke clears Sunday, we're left with 4 teams. Which 4 will it be? Who the hell knows? Nobody knows. That's the beauty of the tournament. That's the beauty of March basketball. And it's great when it was at the Garden. And I had a good time last night.
we got some picks coming up later. So we'll actually break it down a little bit more with someone who knows a hell of a lot more than we know.
Yeah, wait till you see this interview, folks.
And let me tell you, it's like nothing you've ever seen on our show. No. This is going to be the most intense 45 minutes you've ever heard on Locked Up Sports. It's not even close. It's crazy. Don't have your children in the room.
It gets very NC-17.
Don't have your children in the room.
It gets very NC-17.
It's out of control. It's great. It's great.
Now
you're gonna enjoy it.
Listen, I didn't like the WBC. I'm clearly not a fan. Everybody knows I'm not a fan. I'm very disappointed in Trout. How he let us down. He let us down.
It?
I didn't see it.
Well, he swung and missed on 3 pitches. versus Otani. Did you see the showdown at the end? And they set it up with the cameras.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Now,
jeez, Bob, you really missed out.
I was on my way to work.
The highest rated baseball game in the history of television.
That's what I was gonna say. Listen, I'm wrong about the WBC.
We talked about how the percent. How many people were watching in Puerto Rico? I can tell you how many watched in Japan. 99.7% of televisions were watching in Japan.
That doesn't seem like it could be an accurate number. 99%.
But what do you count as a television? Like your phone? So out of every household, any device that was on, because you're at home watching on TV and your device.
Everyone has a meter.
You're at home with 7 family members. 3 of them are watching on the phone. 1's watching on the TV. There are 4 in a household.
Brett, the Super Bowl gets like 70% in this country. So how is it 99% in Japan?
30% of that is just for the halftime show.
Yes, I agree. You're right.
I hear you. This is about baseball. There was nothing else there but a country that wanted to do nothing more than to win. And let me tell you, they wanted it more than the U.S.
now, are we upset? Are we pissed that we lost?
Otani did like a pretty crazy pregame speech. He was like, "We take down the U.S. today."
Yeah. Hey, listen.
We don't look up to them today. Today they are our enemies. And he looked at Trout, and Trout steps in the box, and he was like, "Hey, buddy." And Otani was like, "No."
See, that's the problem. Is we didn't take it seriously.
He struck him out, swung and missed on 3 pitches. You know, Trout 14 times last year is all he did that.
Trout struck out 3 pitches. Trout strikes out all the time.
Swing and missed on only 14 times on 3 pitches last year, and he swung and missed the 3 pitches.
Trout's a great player, but he strikes out 170, 150, 160 times a season. He's not. People talk about him like he's Mickey Mantle.
He always makes contact, except for 14 times last year.
He strikes out 14 times.
14 times last year, he didn't make contact.
Well, when it all mattered, because that's the biggest what? Is that the biggest bat that Trout's have? That's Trout's had?
Of course.
Because he's not going to get a series ending. The Angels are terrible.
It's the biggest outing that Otani's had in the majors. So I hear you.
Both of them. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to admit I was wrong about the WBC in the fact that nobody cares. People clearly care. Okay, our text message, our group text was full of WBC.
Yeah.
But I still feel the same way. I still don't like it. I still hate it. But I think it might be better
this
than
year.
I guess.
Yeah, that's how it goes. If there's a good one now, people are going to look forward to it. 2026, more people are going to want to play. More guys playing. Hopefully, they organize it better. Where we say, you know what, maybe we'll push back this or take everybody gets a break for a week from whatever. It depends on when you do it.
Now we're less than a week. This time next week, Brett, when we're doing the show, it's we're gonna be talking about the Mets and Yankees playing real games.
Yeah.
Mets all banged up. I looked at the Mets. That's over under is 93.5.
So is the Yankees.
It didn't go down with Diaz. Or they weren't higher than the Yankees, I don't think, at any point. But
yeah, the Yankees have a little better odds. But listen, I would take the over on both of those teams this year.
93. I'll take over 93.
Yeah, the Mets are going to have they both have rough divisions. They're both going to have a little bit of a rough time. Maybe the Yankees a little easier, but you have to stay healthy. It's a long season. You have to also gel. It doesn't mean everything works out. If you get a rough start, then it's harder to catch up. Look at the start the
Yankees had last year. It was one of the good. They were comparing them to the '98 team, greatest team ever. Remember, they couldn't lose.
Yeah.
We had Bedingo on the show, and that was right in the heart of it.
Everything's a letdown after you do that, though.
Yeah, listen. Okay, so next week, we'll have baseball. Yep. We'll do everything like that.
Today, we are focused. I don't even know what we're focused on, to be honest with you. It's on this interview. It's out of control.
It's NC-17.
Yeah.
Maybe some X-rated.
Listen, for our betting fans, you got to want to see this. This is one of the biggest betting names in all of sports ever.
Well, he's the biggest name ever. He's Howard Stern, Opie, and Anthony. Everybody knows him. If you don't know the name, if you don't know the face, you certainly know the voice. Okay? His name is Scott Ferrall. Let's get right to it. I will be back Sunday to do all the NCAA tournaments, so don't worry. I'll take care of all that. Right now, here's our interview. We just finished recording it. Scott Ferrall. All right, so let's... We're joined now today by Scott Ferrall. He's got 35 years in radio. You've heard him everything from CBS Sports Radio, Opie and Anthony. He's even called Atlanta Thrashers games for a year. These days you can find him on Sports Grid. He hosts Ferrall Coast to Coast and his website giving you picks at FerrallOnTheBench.com. Scott Ferrall, welcome to the show.
What's up, boys? I always wondered if I'd end up in the clink. I always joke that I'd rather do this than go to Leavenworth. I used to do shows in San Francisco, and I'd go to Seattle on the train and party and listen to grunge bands and eat seafood, and then on the train back, they roll through San fucking Quentin. They mean business at that place.
Yeah, you think?
I mean, I'd see them out in the yard pumping iron. I'd be on a train. I'd be like, this is not where you want to end up right here.
No, you don't want to play versus their basketball team.
Yeah, there's no refs at the San Quentin yard game, but I played in some violent games on 4th Street in Manhattan, and let's just say you're not welcome there if you're white. But I know Blackjack Ryan. I'm good friends with Jackie Ryan, so I got to play there because of him, and I played with him all over New York and New Jersey,
awesome.
In the hood and inside gyms and inside fancy clubs and everywhere else. Best shooter I ever met in my life. He should have made the Nets when he tried out. I think the one thing that hurt him was he went to practice on a bike and he had John McEnroe shorts on and his dick was showing every time he practiced with the Nets.
Yeah, hey, listen, I just found out that that you're 6'4". You might be all right if you walk into a housing area, in my area, in Rikers.
Yeah, I'm about as tough as about two of those dudes snapping my fucking neck and putting me down in some cement and holding me down. But if it's basketball, I can be a real problem in the low block.
Oh, don't worry. They don't play in the low block. They're all Curry fans, so it's everything. They get rebounds under the hoop, and they run it out to the three-point line.
I can shoot, too, so I'm a shooter and a finisher. So inside, outside, I'm like sex.
Yeah, they're shooting other things besides basketball. So I
believe that. I'm glad I don't shoot. I'm glad I don't shoot up, but I shoot at.
Yeah, I believe it. Now you were one of the first people to really talk about gambling on the radio and be free about it. Now everybody talks about it. Well, what has changed? What have you seen change in that kind of landscape?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on. Your show's badass, and that's why I did it. I knew about it. I know it's a cool thing, and it's grown in popularity. So I bullshit you not. I don't do a lot of this. I'm so busy doing the shows I do that I don't really get caught up in, sports, radio, and TV and all this other stuff. I'm so busy doing my own. I don't have time for other stuff. But the reality of it is, if you go back the beginning of my career when, let's say, Mel Karmazin made me, and he's the same guy that made Howard Stern, Obie and Anthony, Don Imus, all the greatest shows you've ever heard in your life in New York and nationally were because of Mel Karmazin. He would later run Sirius XM. I ended up obviously working for Howard for 9 years there. But if you go back to the beginning when he hired me originally, I was the first nationally syndicated sports talk show ever in the history of radio, and they put me in New York. So what happened was originally in my career when Mel Karmazin made me and put me on nationally on WFAN New York in 250 cities, I was young, I was crazy, I was wild, I was nuts. I was already doing kind of an extreme shock type sports talk show in San Francisco at KMBR, the Giant Station, Warriors, etc., right? And he came to San Francisco and offered me this huge job, and I took it immediately, and they put me on in New York. And Mike and the Mad Dog hated me. They said they wouldn't work with me. I'm crazy. I'm insane. It's not what the fan needs. It's bad for their image. And then what I did was I proceeded to be on there for 5 years and was number one in every single ratings book for 5 years. I was hired to get the 18 to 34 audience, and how I did it was simple. I played heavy metal,
nice,
and I talked gambling.
Yeah.
I talked point spreads. I talked totals. I talked reverses. I talked, you name it, money lines. On Friday nights, this is back in the day, you're talking early 90s, and I was no cell phones. I mean, I think right around the corner was those big, shoe-looking fucking phones with a antenna on it. Remember the big, green one?
Sports phone. You call it sports phone to get the scores.
Right. The real big one. So no one had cell phones. People had a pen and a pad of paper. And on Friday nights, they used to say, get your pen and paper, get your doobie, get your beer. It's time. And I would go through 100 college football games, and I would give the spread and the money line and the total for all the games. And I would do every pick for every game, every week. And then that included Saturday and Sunday payday NFL. So I started doing it then. And like, I got all kinds of grief. I mean, I got accused of, I was going to ruin the country. I was going to ruin children. I was the Antichrist. I was a pedophile. I was a junkie. I was out of my mind. I was fucking insane. How could this guy talk about gambling on our national radio airwaves and get away with it? He's a horrible person. He needs to be put away. And I used to just kept saying, fuck you.
Did the FCC come after you at all? Like, what was it like?
5 times. 5 times they came after me.
Wow. Did they come after you or the station? They come after you or the station?
Me.
Okay.
And which, then it became a problem for the station, always. They came after me in L.A., New York, Miami, Atlanta, and again in New York. I had like religious zealot, freak, idiot morons come after me in multiple cities that basically, in a nutshell, thought I was the devil. But meanwhile, I was talking about, everyone knew a bookie. Everyone knows Johnny Knuckles. Yeah. Everyone has a guy.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, I used to go to this sports store where they sold like shoes, right? Athlete, like, basketball shoes, tennis shoes, soccer shoes, whatever. But in the back, when you went around the back into the office, there was a wall of action.
Wow.
And the guy was running a shop, a boiler room for sports betting. Everyone that I knew growing up in Pittsburgh had a bookie. When I worked in Philly and did Eagles pregame, everyone had a bookie. Everyone gambled. Everyone never got a bet wrong. I hit this, I hit that. But all I know is I started doing it in the early 90s every week, and it got gigantic. I mean, it became the biggest thing ever in radio. I mean, I was number one in every market, in every city, everywhere, every book, every ratings book. 4 books a year. I was the king of sports. I have a Wall Street Journal story right here. They called me Howard Cosell's Generation X. That's what they called me. I was this lunatic doing crazy things on the radio, gambling, heavy metal, talking about chicks with big tits, talking about surfing.
And that was the time for that.
Fucking, talking about pussy, talking about jag off, dickhead, loser, fag.
Well, that's how
I called
started.
people everything. And then I just kept getting in trouble. I had a lawyer that was so good that by the time he was done with me, he stopped talking to me. Okay, like this guy, he represented me so many times that he eventually said, "I'm done with you. Get the fuck out of my life." But I was never trying, guys, to really be that guy. I swear to God, I wasn't trying to be in court or be in trouble or go to depositions or have to afford attorneys in my life. What I was trying to do was I was trying to be the best, and I was trying to be number one, and I was trying to be really the king of late night sports talk. That was my goal, and I did all that. And I got to be honest, I'd say 70% of the show was about betting. And then as the years went by, fast forward to, I was working at Howard Stern, and they let me do whatever I wanted. I could have burned babies and fetuses on the air, and they would have never said a word.
Yeah,
there were no rules, no censorship. Best job I ever had. I love Howard. He's like my God. And I worked there 9 years, and then the writing was on the wall that they were going to change the stations, bring in new people, not talent, but management. Like, he brought in this chick to run the whole thing. And my guy, Sabian, was out. They brought her in. And when I smelled that coming, because I had Howard's agent, Don Buchwald, same agent, same everything. So the writing was on the wall. They're like, listen, we want you to talk to Chris Russo about doing Mad Dog Radio and all this other stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. I made a couple phone calls, and I got back to CBS in a hurry. I had 20-plus years of pension there. I had 20 years of service there. I've been on CBS NEW, WFAN, CBS Sports Radio. So they owe me all kinds of money and pensions till I'm dead, right? And so I left and went and did that. I didn't want to go do that. I did it because of the money and the pension, because I had it. And if I was going to work somewhere, I wanted to keep that growing and going over really. And I'm friends with Russo to this day, but I didn't really want to work for him or take orders from him. I'm too cool. I'm not real good with fucking orders and shit.
Well, was it Russo? Was it Russo or was it Francesca that called you a pedophile?
Well, they both didn't like me and hated me forever. And then when Chris went to Sirius and started working kind of in concert with Howard as the other big guy at Sirius. Remember, Howard's the king, and everybody else is a pauper, including him.
Give us a starting story.
Great. He's great, right? Like, Chris is great at what he does. His channel's great. I love Mad Dog. I'm cool with him. Because once he saw that I mattered and that I worked for Howard and that I was doing what I was doing for Howard, which was bringing millions of men to his feet, that he knew, like, wow, this guy really is a dad, a husband, a good guy. I'm not this wild person that they thought I was. I was a lot older, and then we got along, and we were friends. We're friends to this day. I see him at the Super Bowl every year. We get along great. But it's not like I don't go to the fucking tennis club to hang out with him and his wife and have martinis. I play basketball. I'm a fucking grown man. I'm violent. So the deal is that when I went back to CBS, I started doing the gambling stuff, and they were like, "Whoa, you're not gonna start doing all that again." And I go, "Listen, you're about to hit upside your head a baseball bat called the Supreme Court. They're gonna pass this law, and sports betting is gonna be a cavalcade, an avalanche, a mudslide."
You must have seen it long before anybody else.
I knew it was coming. I already lived in Vegas twice. I lived there twice. I should be dead.
Yep.
But the fact is, when I lived in Vegas, I mean, I had the coolest show ever, and I used to do my show at the Mandalay Bay live in the sports book. They built a studio for me. I lived in the casino. I had comped everything:
awesome.
Booze, food, and bitches. Comp anything I wanted. After 1 year of living there, I never slept once in a year. Literally. You want to know what insomnia is? Ferrall in Vegas, living on a comped fucking ride, a full ride.
Do they still let you? Do they still let you in? Do they still let you in these days?
I don't. Let's just say that ended.
I knew it. That's how it always ends in Vegas.
I did a year there, and it was awesome. But they had enough of me and my parties and my mess. But by the time I got back to CBS, then it hit, right? Then sports betting became legal everywhere. First New Jersey, and then once the floodgates opened, it was on. And then Sports Grid came and offered me a lot of money to leave CBS and to do sports betting television, streaming television, right? So when I went there, there were literally no viewers, none. And I took the job. People said I was crazy. You must be fucking crazy to walk away from CBS. And I said, well, they can suck my nuts, and I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I want to do because I'm old and my career's ending. So I want to ride the surfboard on the best wave I can till the end. So I took the gig, and I knew that I'd be walking into a sports betting heaven. So we do 24/7 sports betting on Sports Grid, and I'm glad I did it. When I started, there was no one. Now, today, 260 million homes.
Wow.
And I average 1 million viewers an hour, and I average on Saturdays and Sundays 5 million an hour. So how big is that dick?
Wow. We only get 3 million an hour.
You guys are kicking ass and taking names. I'm over here just trying to follow your footsteps.
We can't pick winners like you. I'll tell you that much.
Listen, I'm glad I did it. Like, I really like Sports Grid because it's cool, and I can talk betting nonstop and money and I don't have handcuffs on, locked up sports. I don't have prison time. I don't have lawyers. I don't have now.
Yeah.
Everyone and their brother. The best thing for me was that every league, and when I was in the NHL, that lasted 1 year too, because I was crazy when I did Thrasher games.
I can't imagine
and
him
I was also
doing
the most
Thrasher
entertaining guy in the league. Millions of fans loved me because I did fake fights. We lost every night, so I was like talking about hoes in the crowd. I was like doing fake fights. I did everything. And the players loved me. The fans loved me. The league hated me. I drank in the press box. I'd bring a beer. They go, "You can't drink in here." I go, "I have to drink to watch this fucking thing."
Ralph Conley did it.
Definitely hated you, yeah.
So when I, bottom line is, I did all this stuff with handcuffs on. Everybody said, "Sky, you can't talk about the puck line." And I'd be like, "You guys are pussies." So finally, I'm at a place where sports betting is the only entree on the menu, and we're allowed to talk about it. And for me, it's better than sex.
Now, you got one of those, the paid subscription deals. Those guys a lot of times come off as like, okay, do they know what they're talking about? Now, I always look at the gambler as the Washington Generals and the casino as the Globetrotters. You come close, but you really can't beat them. You seem to have a 60% something win percentage, right?
Listen, I've had, not this past season, but this past season in the NFL was rough for me, and everyone else for that matter. I think the NFL is the hardest sport to bet in the world.
Yeah.
And then I would say soccer, because soccer, there's 5 ways or something you can lose.
Yeah.
There's no, like one night I hit a bet in soccer in my mind. I was jumping up and down, and we had hit the bet, and I was ready to jerk off, and then my son's like,
"You lost.
You had to win in regulation."
Yeah,
That's what happened to this guy. He was texting us a couple months ago doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Fuck soccer." So I'm like this. Football's the hardest. Not college. College is doable. I make a lot of money in college, and I've always been I think the best college bettor ever, at least on radio and television. And people can say whatever they want, but everyone knows me. They're like, that guy's an asshole, but man, can that fucking guy bet on college football? And I'm really good at hockey too. But the reality is this: the NFL's a bitch because every game's like 3 and a hook, 2 and a. It's all 1 a pick 'em. It's insane. It's really hard. The totals are hard. The spreads are hard. The money lines are hard. Everything about it is hard. But like last year, not this season, but the one prior, I had 7 weeks over 70%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
against the spread? Against the spread?
7 different weeks I was over 70%. This year, I didn't have 1 week over 70. I had several in the high 50s and mid 60s, but 70 to me is full porno.
Oh,
You go 70, you're full on, straight Peter North. So my goal is to go 70. And then when I go 70, I make people a lot of money. I have a lot of customers that buy my picks, and they get real horny when I hit them. Here's the deal. I lose a lot of bets, okay, just like everyone else. It's how much do you lose and how much do you win when you win, and how consistent are you at winning. And my world of this site and my show has clearly, over the last 35 years, 40 years, been in the 60s. And if you're at 52 in Vegas, you're making money. At 57, you're like, man, that guy's pretty good. At 60, you're like, what the fuck's happening here? At 65, they're like, this guy's got a huge dick. And you're like King Tut and Hammond if you're in those types of numbers. If you're hitting 60s, mid 60s in Vegas, you're fucking rich.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bottom line is that, people have always said, oh, he sells picks. Like the other day, some guy started complaining to, the network that I sell picks. Here's the deal. I have done it for 17 years. And before that, everybody around me was rich and making millions. Howard's making $100 million a year. I'm over here, driving a Camry. I'm like, I'm done with everybody else around me making millions. and I'm over here fucking slugging, trying to get by. So I started doing it because I'm really good at it, and it turned into gold. And so when I did my deals from that day forward at Sirius, CBS, and at Sportsnet, I said, listen, I sell picks. If you don't like it, then don't fucking hire me.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to sell picks, and you're going to let me, or you can fuck off.
Now, are you?
That's going to bring more viewers to him.
Yeah. Are you a parlay guy?
Listen,
Are you a parlay guy?
Win-win.
Like I'm not rude to them about it. I'm not a dick. Like, I'm being extravagant here on your show. But the reality is, I have an agent, and I just tell them, it's simple. You either let me do it and stay out of it, or we don't need to get in bed. Because you have to know who you're sleeping with from the minute it starts. When you get into bed with her, if she's a viper, you might, want to consider you might have some problems down the road. Okay. When I'm getting into bed with somebody, I let them know this is what I do, and this is what I'm gonna do. And if you don't like it, then don't hire me. The Thrashers knew that I was fucking nuts, and they hired me. Ted Turner hired me, and then they complained the whole time I did it that I was crazy. You know what? Suck my dick. Okay, so when they fired me, they had to pay me for 4 years, every 2 weeks for 4 years. I did 1 year. I got paid for 4. Who's the sucker now?
Yeah, that's
so
great.
here's the deal. When I do deals, I always said, that was the best job I ever had. I got paid every 2 weeks for 4 years to do nothing. Okay, I did 1 year of play-by-play, and they paid me for 3 more. And believe me, they hate me. The best thing that ever happened to me was when they went fucking broke and moved to Winnipeg. Like, how you doing now? After you lost your second NHL team. Okay, so when I went to Sportsnet, they've been cool to me from the jump. They're like, we don't do that. I go, well, I do. And they're like, we don't let our host do it. I said, I am the host. Yeah. I'm the one. I'm coming in. I'm taking the fuck over, and we're going to do great things together, and I'm going to make you a lot of money. And just stay out of my stupid little side hustle. That's all it is. And it's been good to my family, and it's good to, I want to put my kids through college with it. I want to go on vacations with it. I don't use it to, change the world or anything. I'm over here just trying to get by like you guys are. I'm not one of these dudes. You got to remember, I worked late night in radio for my whole career. They don't pay dudes late night in radio a lot of money. Nope. I did well because I was bigger and better, right? Like, my show was bigger. I was in every market, and I was syndicated. And when you're in those pants, you make a little bit more money. But I never made, the money I made in Morning Drive or the money that, Howard makes or anyone else. When I was at CBS, Boomer and Gio make lots of money. Craig makes lots of money at the time when I was there, right? And then, I did better than anyone else in radio in New York at night, but not like guys that are in Morning Drive making tons of money. So the fact that I do gambling and sports betting on a, side hustle business that I created and that people love and people like, and they invest in it and they ride the lightning for, not just a week, but a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, that go long-term betting. It's been good for everybody. I make people a lot of money, and they're happy, and they come back. And the ones that I lose bets, right, and then people dive off the Titanic real quick. And I say it's a long haul thing. It's not for pussies that lose a bet and want me to burn in hell. Yeah, it's your fault that Gonzaga hit the shot last night. Yeah, blow me.
Now, did everybody at WFAN know about Carton, or was that was that an open secret, or was it nobody had any idea?
I never knew, and I love Craig, and I never knew. I had no idea ever, and I've known him for 30 years. I had no idea ever that he had that going on. And that's the honest to God truth. And it's just crazy. That story's crazy, right? But I'm happy for him that he's come back huge and done well, and he turned his life around. He's a really cool dude. I've always been friends with him, and I think his shows are great. And he's number one for a reason. He's good at it. He does entertainment, afternoon drive shows and a morning TV show. He's an entertainer. And I'm in the entertainment business too. I'm in the sports betting entertainment business now. I've already done all the radio and Shock Jock and MTV. When I was on MTV, I had long hair and I smoked gigantic spleefs.
Were we on TRL? Were you on TRL?
That's what we're talking about. Now we're talking.
TRL. I got in all kinds of trouble. Like, it's funny. Like, Carson's a great guy, and I like him and everything. I worked with him, Carson Daly. And now, like, look at me right now. I'm at least 7 to 10 years older than him. And look at him. Now, I'm just saying, like, he's got a really good job, and he's making tons of money, and he's got a great family. I'm sure I have not talked to Carson in 25 years. But, like, look at me, and look at him. He's fat and old, and I'm fucking a badass.
That's right.
Now,
honestly, and I'm 10 years older than him. And I've done every booze and drug in the world in those years. Like, I was a bad boy. Now, when I had kids, right, I quit drinking, and I quit everything. And but before that, I did everything. I partied with Motley Crue. I partied with Metallica. I partied with Guns N' Roses. And when I tell you I partied with them, I mean, I left with them on a Thursday, and I came home the following Tuesday. Okay, so when I saw Slash at Howard one day, he's like, I'll never forget it. He goes, holy shit, you're not fucking dead? And I was like, you too, motherfucker.
That's what an amazing thing for Slash to say.
It's funny. I've seen them all. Like, I partied with Tommy and those guys when he was fucking Pam. Okay, so I knew everyone. I was with Metallica. I did Acoustica. If you watch the album, listen to it. It's me hosting the show. So I was deep in it with everybody when I was in Hollywood. And I was just a bad seed. I was a bad boy. Naughty. I didn't have wives and kids. I had money, and I was a fucking gangster.
Yeah, hey, listen, I say all the time.
That's life, though. Isn't that what, like, the dream is?
But that's what I say.
Isn't that what, like, everybody, you know, if you're going to go into, you want to be a professional athlete, you want to be famous, you want to get, and you want to enjoy it, not just get the money and then,
people see me and they say, I can't believe they gave you a badge.
Vegas, that's
I can't believe they gave you a badge and a gun. I said, me neither.
So I went to the Super Bowl, and the whole time I was there, I just wanted to fuck Carmen Electra.
Did you?
There was nothing else. No, but I came close. I sliced my arm open, cutting a Super Bowl cake, and the knife went through my arm, and it hit an artery, and I was spraying blood on her, and she's like running for her life, and I think that was like the end of my chances.
That is close. That is
zero
close.
Zero rating going in, but I was close because I was
close.
Like,
sometimes they want to take care of you. Sometimes they want to take care of you too. It didn't work out though.
Hey, look,
it was so hot then. I can only imagine what she's been through or what's been through her.
Yeah.
But I loved her when I was young. I thought she was smoking hot when I worked with her. I worked with her. I worked with all of them. What's the one? What's the chick that does the New Year's Eve ball that's married to the...
Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy.
She's one of my favorites growing up.
Singled out. She did Singled Out on MTV.
That was us growing up.
She's married to the Wahlberger guy, right?
You're talking about our girls. When we grew up, we were like 12 at the time, 14.
Yeah.
So, like, she was really hot to me and had big tits, and I was like, I want to fuck her too.
See,
I was working with all the best. When I was there, Andy Dick was there too, and he was a fucking freak then.
That's what I heard.
And I was like, what is happening with this guy? Now he's like living in a fucking tent in the street and using his neighbor's fucking electricity with a power cord and a generator. But when I worked with him, he was fucking funny as shit, and we did all kinds of crazy shit, the sports and music festivals. Everything I did at MTV was fun and crazy. Everything I did in Hollywood, I made 2 movies, The Big Fan and Red Belt. I did CSI Miami. I did Battle Dome with Steve Albert. I got so lucky in Hollywood, and I loved living in Huntington Beach. And then I moved to New York when they said to me one day, CBS, move to New York or you're fired. We're done listening to your bullshit. We're done with you running the roost and calling the shots, because I was crazy. I never listened to anyone. Mark Chernoff was my boss, and I was his worst nightmare. I didn't listen. I was young and crazy. And then when I worked for him all the years later in New York, he became a good friend of mine because I just grew up and matured and became a dad and quit partying. You know, when I quit partying, Mel Karmazin said to me once on a Thanksgiving at Sirius, he goes, you know, you were a lot funnier when you were drunk and on drugs.
Did you? But it sounds like you would have got along good with Sid.
I did. I got along great with Sid, and Sid and I partied a lot. And I think Sid's utterly fantastic as a friend, as a human being, as a dad, as a talent. I know he does really well. I was really good friends with him and Bernie, and God rest Bernie's soul. I'm glad I saw Bernie before he passed. Sid's fantastic on ABC in New York.
Are you just saying that because he's ripped and he'll kick your ass if you don't?
No, Sid does the weights. I lift every day and I play basketball every day. He's more into the size and getting ripped thing.
Tanning. He's tanning.
I lift to be strong, old man strength playing basketball. I lift to be violent playing basketball like Bill Laimbeer and Mahorn. I don't lift to be big. I lift to be strong and nasty.
now you're a Steelers, so you're from Pittsburgh, right? Steelers fans, Steelers season ticket holder.
Yeah, I have season tickets to the Steelers for life. My plan is to never give them up. And I live in New York, and I don't I go to a lot of games. Last year, I didn't get to go to one because Sports Grid put me on Sundays with Gabe Morency. We do the 1 to 4 NFL Pain Day show, and it's gigantic and it's fun. I like working with him. He's a really funny guy, and he's very entertaining and talented. And he and I together are just a massive orgasm. We're great together. I love working with him. He's a trip. He's got a massive gambling problem. So do I. And all I know is I never got to go to another Steeler game. But so what I do is I give them to friends and I sell them. The guy that sits next to me for 30 years, when I was a kid, my dad used to take me and I knew this guy. And he buys them from me every game that I'm not there. So I'm going to keep them. When I retire one day, who knows? Maybe I'll end up in Pittsburgh and I'll keep going to Penguin, Pirate, and Steeler games. My dad ran U.S. Steel for like 40-some years, and I grew up in luxury of having all those seats in those three sports for my whole life. And I got to go watch Dan Marino play at Pitt and Tony Dorsett, Hugh Green. I got to see 6 Super Bowls, 2 World Series, 5 Stanley Cups, and I'm a huge lifer of Pittsburgh. So I go back often, and whenever I can, I go to games. And then, I give them to all my friends that are alcoholics and drug addicts in Pittsburgh, and they go sit in my seats and offend everyone around them. And they all know that they're my friends because I've had the seats for 40-some years.
Yeah, you know everyone in the section.
All my friends are fucking junkies.
That's like now with me. I'm not a huge gambler just because I'm terrible at it. But last night, my buddy is a huge gambler.
He gambles every day. He's not a big. He doesn't spend a lot of money. There's not a day he hasn't put in place to wait.
Last night, you know where I was last night for the Sweet 16 in the FanDuel box. Yeah, we got a buddy who's a degenerate, and he. You know,
who said it best was our friend Artie. Artie said to me one day. I think he even said it on Howard's show. No one watches sports unless they have action on it.
Yep.
Yeah. You notice you have a lot more
better games last night. They were great games. The best games ever because you had a little money on it and you won.
I have a lot more fans who are NBA fans now. Why? Because they bet on the games. They weren't NBA fans.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know, when I have a lot of action on a game, right, I can't even sit down. I fucking cuss. And I pace, I stand, and I scream and yell, and I turn colors, and I sweat, and I am overall a home wrecker.
You like that?
When there's a big game on, my wife and kids basically either lock themselves in other rooms with TVs and things cranked up so they can't hear me, or they leave altogether because I am insane. When I have a big piece on a game, like if I hit a big bet, I'm fun to be around. If I lose a big bet, I'm an asshole.
Yep.
Yeah. The next day, how much better is your day tomorrow when that last game hit? Like last night, my 2 bets hit. This morning was great. Woke up, turned on Sports Center. I was ready to go.
The one where you're chasing the money.
You're
chasing the money.
Yeah.
You know.
when my teams lose, let's say, for instance, the Penguins lost to the Red Wings in 08 in the Stanley Cup Final. Then they beat them in 09, right? The same team. When they lost to them, I don't watch TV the next day for 24 hours
Easy.
because I can't stand ESPN like shoving it down my fucking
football.
throat
It's like
that
almost a week. Football, I got to wait until next week.
Scott Van Pelt comes on with the bad beats, and you're on all of them, and you're like, oh.
Every news channel, local in New York, I got to watch the Jets.
So we call on my show. We call bad beats Marley's.
Okay.
Because my producer and I got food poisoning in Phoenix at the Super Bowl, and you can figure out where on your own. I won't say it, but we call bad beats Marley's, and it's a growing tradition on my show. I think it's way better than bad beats. We had another Marley last night. It's turned into a funny thing, but losing sucks. Like I have really great weeks and really great nights, and then I have bad nights. I have bad weeks. I had a bad week this week. I mean, I was down like $10,000 this week.
Wow.
It was just a bad week, and you never know when you're gonna hit a wall. Everybody thinks they're a badass until the game ends and you're not, right? Like, and I always tell people on my show every day, I'm like, I had nothing to fucking do with it. What do you think? I fucking play? Like, people blame me for bets not hitting. I'm like, I don't play. It's not my fault. Tell your mother.
Yeah.
Like, betting that's what it is. It's dangerous. It's gambling. It's not like fucking picking tulips.
Yeah, there's a reason why, you pick the casino will say, you take whichever team you want. We'll take the other guy. Then they keep building these big, beautiful casinos.
Right.
And, a lot of the gamblers are in the streets.
In New York and New Jersey, you're looking at, like, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of roughly $1.7 billion a month in their profit. So
That's out of control.
$1.7 billion a month. That's rough estimate. Like, we already know New York's over $1 billion. So New Jersey somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 to 9, right? It could be 1.9 billion a month. And remember this, New York yanks 51% of it.
Yep.
And New Jersey yanks 50% of it. So,
they're out there regulating on our end, too. If you went in and tried to get a Super Bowl box in the last 2 years, they were coming in, they were finding you $10,000, and now you can't find them anymore. So even like the most small level of, we're used to doing this, we've tradition for 50 years, everybody's pitting $10 for a box. New York said, no more, that's our money.
How about it? Rikers, don't tell me they're not betting in the hizzy.
Yeah, but they have no idea. They have no idea about any of it. They'll be like, they'll want to stay out to watch the NBA Finals because they're supposed to lock it at 9. And I'll be like, and I'll tell them I don't want them to stay out because I want to watch the game. I go, name me 3 players on Golden State, and they can't even do it. Name me the quarterback for this team. They can't even do it. I should start gambling with them.
It's just about the gamble.
Yeah.
It's about they just want more ramen noodles.
Yeah.
I'd make a lot of money there.
Yeah, but then when you just go to collect it, they'll be good luck.
I don't know how you do that, bro. That place is fucking, cuckoo's now.
Yeah, I'm not listening.
That place is
pepper spray is a beautiful thing.
Joke.
Pepper spray is a beautiful thing.
It works.
I'm not fighting these guys.
You got some stones.
They ask me all the time.
Hellhole.
They're like, "Why don't you fight me? Why don't you fight me?" I say, "Because I'll lose." Yeah. It's very simple. I'll lose. I ain't gonna.
How many they got in there?
We got a lot of times it's me with like 30 guys. Me, like, look at me. I'm a.
And how many inmates are there?
There's like 25. There's like 7 jails on Rikers Island, and there's like 2,500 inmates, something like that. And it varies. It goes up and down. A lot of guys when the winter comes.
Over the years, I swear to God, and I have customers now to this minute that are ex-cons or that have listened to my show in the hizzy for years. I mean, I know guys that have been doing life that have written me letters. I have letters from prisons, 1,000 deep over the years from prisoners that have been fanatical about my shows on the radio because that's all they had was the radio. And more so for me it was big in really big when I was in California. And then it's been big here too in New York City. And I have customers that are out now and that are trying to find their way and make it in the world again. And that they like action, they like betting, and they like my show, and they like my picks, and they buy them and they go bet. And then it's a rough way to hustle because, like I said, they blame me for everything. Like, I get blamed. If I get a game wrong, I get like 10 death threats. When I get if I go 9-1 I don't get anything. I don't even get a thanks. I don't get a good job. I don't go, wow, that was fucking titties. Nice work.
Yeah.
I get nothing. But if I get one game wrong, they're going to cut my fucking wife's head off and stuff it in her ass. And I'm going to fucking be set on fire and my children are going to get gang raped. I get that every day.
It's just like working in jail. I get that all the time. All because I closed this cell. Like, I closed your cell. I'm going to kill your family.
It's real stressful, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm trying my best every day to hit bets. What do you think? I'm fucking over here trying to lose? Like, it's really hard. People don't understand. It's weird for me. The gambling world, people don't understand. They've never come to grips with the fact that you can lose money. They just think they're going to go and win money all the time. People get in front of a slot machine and they want to fuck it. They think they're going to make money. So I'm from the real side of the river where I understand about the casinos everywhere popping up and the big money that they make, the billions of dollars they generate. So I work with MGM, right? So BetMGM is my sole sponsor of my TV show, and they took it over. And I like them. I've had a lot of good friends that work there, and I got guys' jobs there. I think they're really cool. But I understand they're a behemoth. I understand they own like 80% of Las Vegas. I'm not fooled into thinking that they're not evil, right? They're enormous. They got that way for a reason. And then I'm just a simple dude that likes to bet on sports. I know a lot of professional sports bettors, heavies, sharps, whatever you want to call them. And it's a tough way to make a living. Let's just say they all have bags under their eyes. It's a stressful way to live life. Most of them are hard drinkers, and a lot of them are a mess. But listen, it is what it is. Like, a lot of people would rather bet on sports than go to a job.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, do you think, with bookies, but we know bookies will always be around because they give credit, right? So they'll always be around. But do you find that people still use bookies? Do they use bookies a lot? Is it the credit? Is that why they use them?
I know they do, and it's because you just said it, bro. That's why. Because there's something about having, I think, credit for people, and like the one thing that I've seen that is disturbing, and I've read about it like in Newsweek this week. There's a huge article. I don't know if you saw it. No. But go look it up. You'll be reading it. It's like the Bible. This thing, you'll be reading it for an hour. It's a really long story about the pitfalls of it and the dangers of it and the insanity of it and what it's doing to countries and communities and cities and kids. The thing that I've noticed, and I know for a fact, is that it is out of control in high schools and colleges.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know kids that are 18 years old that bet more than, you can't even fathom how much they bet. Like, they're betting every night. They got 10 bets going. They got everything going. And they got a bookie handling the whole thing. And it's generally one of their own. You understand? It's not some old man that's staring them, I'm going to break your legs. It's not that way. It's like college kids running their little hustle empire. And they run it clean, and they usually do it with all their friends. They don't do it with people they don't know, that they don't like or trust. They keep it in a core, and so they'll have a unit of like 25 to 50 guys that are doing it, and a guy that runs that can make a fortune. And the guy that runs the whole thing, believe me, he ain't driving a Camry, and he makes a lot of money. And trust me, he's getting pussy because he's got all that cash in college. And people are like, how does this guy have all this money? His mom and dad must have sent him all kinds of money. And he's driving around in his Beamer M Series, and he's taking me to fancy restaurants to dinner and fucking me, it's because he's probably involved in some kind of gamble.
Yeah. I mean, we used to feel when we were in high school. Even we would feel like one of our friends would get from the bar.
Oh, we used to get the
parlay
cards. Yeah,
and we would throw down money on that. It was even goes back to that.
But we had friends at a young age, but it was only like one guy or two guys, and that would be into it, and they're still into it. Those are the guys who we know today that were taking Bob to the FanDuel suite.
box.
But now that's every kid.
Those people, let's just face it, man. They are making billions. All of them.
Billions.
Are making billions. And what they're doing is they're building an empire to eat the other ones. At some point down the road, in the next, I'd say, 5 years to 10 max, I think some of the smaller ones will all be eaten. And it'll be a core of 4 or 5 of them that run the world in sports betting. But if you read this article about Newsweek, about gambling, I mean, they're talking about people killing themselves.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
People with anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies, seeking help. They're in shrinks offices. They're in groups. They're in 12-step. They've, it's ruined their lives. They've started drinking and using, and it all started with sports betting. And they're in Europe, in London. I read the article. It's unbelievable. You got to read it to believe it. You have to read it.
I just pulled it up. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, read it. Go to the toilet, sit on the toilet for an hour, read it, and you won't believe it. There's a guy from Paddy Power. He said he quit his job running. He was like the head of it, and he quit because he felt that he was contributing to suicides in the UK with all the young kids that are killing themselves because they have gambling debt.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, before we let you go, give us how far is Princeton and FAU going to go? Can they both win? Princeton's 10.5 tonight. They're 10.5-point underdogs. And then give us a quick word on the Knicks. I know you're a big Knicks fan. We got to talk Knicks.
I am a big Knicks fan. Just so you know, I have all kinds of NBA hoodies and clothes, and I root for the Knicks. Fuck the Bulls, but I have a Bulls shirt on. But I'm a Knicks fan, pure and simple, through and through. I hate everyone else. So I love the Knicks, but they're a kick in the dick, aren't they? Like, you win 9 straight, then you go 3-6. They're a kick in the dick. The other night in Miami, I thought they played like pussies. Tired, paycheck game. We're going to get paid either way. Fuck it. Let's just lose. And then they turn around and did it again in Orlando. Fuck it. Let's just lose. It don't even matter. We're to 5. Yeah. That bothers me. But they're way better than they've ever been, even that 54-win season. Because I think of Brunson, and I love Hart, and I already love IQ. I would have never even considered trading him. I think he's just a lightning bolt off the bench and a badass. Got a nice floater, can hit a 3 here and there. Fast, energetic, transition player that gets up and down and does it. I hope they do well in the playoffs. I don't think they go deep. If they could win a round, it would be badass for us as New Yorkers. But I love Princeton at 10.5 based on their rebounding.
That's the pick.
They're the 3rd best rebounding team, or 14th in the country, I think, overall. But in the tournament, I think they're like 3rd best. They've been crashing the glass on both ends. I've always said I played a lot of basketball, championship basketball. I've been on title teams. I've lost championships. I've won them. I've won in the city. I've won everywhere. And I know that losing sucks. And all I know is when you look at teams like, Princeton, anyone that, if you miss shots and don't get the rebound, you're going to lose, okay? Because everyone misses shots. It's how many second, third chances you get to put the ball in the hole determines basketball games. If you get all the rebounds, you win. I have won championships by literally simply rebounding. All you have to do is get every rebound. You'll win the game. If no one gets a second chance, you will win the game, even if the other team's 20 points better than you. If they're better talent, faster, bigger. But if they don't get any rebounds, that means they have to hit every shot, which no one does.
I think Florida Atlantic did that last night, too. Yeah.
Florida Atlantic did with that run they went on.
Princeton played that way in the first 2 games. Played great defense, great block out, great rebounding, and eliminated second chances. And they got so many O boards that they got, their last game, they were 19 second chance points to 2. That's why they won. I took them with a 10.5. Obviously, FAU can win now any game they play. That game at the Garden is going to be absolutely titties tomorrow because they are not afraid of K-State. I think Noel is the difference.
Noel's the best player on the court.
Yeah, I would still bet on him to win that game over Davis. I think Davis had that look. Like, I played against guys like that. He's got that fucking look in his eyes that says, I am not losing today to fucking anybody. I am going to the 10, and I'm going to win, and you may think you're going to beat me, but you're not. And you don't like me? Good. Because I'm going to fucking take your mother home with me. He plays like that, right? The guy that refuses to lose. Last night they were getting their ass beat, and he still found a way, and they still run and gun and win. They're really exciting. They didn't win 34 games because they're pussies. They can really shoot. I think it's going to be the best game Saturday. I think that game will be better than UConn and Gonzaga, believe it or not, because of those two players are so exciting, and those two systems are so good and exciting. I think it's going to be titties. That other game is going to be a heavyweight brawl.
Yeah.
Timmy and then the big fella from Connecticut, Saraga, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, Sonogo.
What do you think of UConn? We got a big UConn fan around here, and we want to know, what do you think about their chances?
They're really good. I think they can win that game, but I think Gonzaga can beat them. You're talking about. I do believe Mark Few is a couple floors above Danny in terms of experience in these games. I think Danny's a great coach. I think Few's better. So, but I bet on K-State over Izzo, and I thought Izzo was clearly better than your boy Tanger Outlet, but they got it done because of Noel.
Everybody bet it.
Tonight I'm betting on Miami with the number because they're kind of hood rat gangster ball. I love it. Like, Rucker Park type team. In my view, they're a gangster, low ass down, hands out defense in your face. They'll play with no timeouts and get down and dirty playing straight man. And then I think San Diego State has an incredible defense. Now, I know Alabama can beat anyone. They average 21 a game. They average beating teams by 21 in the tournament. But San Diego State is, I think, defensively the best defense. I think that you're going to see them take, Bama to the woodshed in terms of they've had an easy time of it. That all ends tonight. Yeah, I think they're going to have their hands full.
Alabama's impossible to root for too.
But that's when you find out what you're made of, is when you put to the test, and that's what we're going to see.
I like Texas too, to be honest, but you never know. Like I got burned on UCLA last night. Here's another example of don't blame me. You're up 13 at the half. You don't score for 7 fucking minutes in the second half. You just lose. Then you're down 10, and in 2 minutes you're up 1, and with no time left, you give up a 3 to lose. That math is crazy. Up 13, don't score for 7 minutes. Down 10 with 1:09 left.
I was about to turn it off.
1, and then you still lose. Fuck me.
Yeah, they both were throwing the game away.
That was a Marley last night. Yeah. And I thought Tennessee had one of the third best defense in the nation. They played like fucking cunts too. You're up 5 at the half, and then you turn into fucking, pussies.
Yeah, they were terrible in that second half. They couldn't score either. Nobody could score in that game. And imagine,
you never know.
Imagine, 4 months ago, someone telling you it's going to cost you $500 to get into the FAU game at the Garden.
I used to go to FAU games in Boca because I lived in Miami. I lived in Boca. Okay. And I used to go troll that campus, go to games, because like Howard Snellenberger was there.
I lived in Boynton Beach.
I'm a Canes fan. You live in Boynton, so you know the area.
I lived in Boynton, yeah.
So if you troll the FAU campus, there's some fucking hot bitches on that campus. Let me tell you what. And they don't wear clothes. They wear bikinis.
And they're not very smart either.
Oh, they're not smart either. They're fantastic to go drinking with. But
they love.
I actually, I'm kind of pulling for him, but I still think Noel's going to beat him.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm done because I was on Arkansas. I'll be honest. I love Arkansas. I love Musselman. I think they're a really good team, and they've had multiple years now, 3 years of deep runs. And they got smacked in the face by UConn, just the shit beat out of them. So I'm not doubting the Huskies anymore.
Yeah, no. Well, all right. So why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? What's your website and everything like that? Let us know.
So the website is ferrallonthebench.com. It's badass. It's all virtual. It's all videos. It's all, I do this thing called FU every day. It's Ferrall Unplugged, but it comes across as FU. And it's a sports center with cussing. And then it's more of like my Howard Stern type days of there's no rules. And I just talk about teams that fuck me over at night and I lose bets. But I make fun of people. It's really cool. It's like 10, 12 minutes every day. And then the picks video is just straight every day. You get the picks. So members love it. They dig it. FerrallOnTheBench.com. The shows I do, Ferrall Coast to Coast, 3 to 6 East on Sports Grid TV, the Sports Grid app. It's on smart TVs. Search Sports Grid. It's on Prime Video Freebie. We're on Samsung Plus TVs, Vizio, LG TVs. We're also on Roku, Sling, Fubo, and YouTube TV, and Sirius XM channel 159. And I do that 3 to 6 East on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then on Saturday, I do 12 to 4 in-game live all access with the former Monmouth coach, Coach James Young. We just do college and pro rack for 4 hours. It's insane, and it's all gambling, and it's funny as shit. And all the shows, and then, like in the football season, I do Sunday as well. I told you 1 to 4 on with Morency. And so I'm really busy doing all of it, but the show at 3 to 6 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. The reason I don't do it Wednesday, I joke on the air that I'm at the old folks' home doing community service, is that on off season, I don't work on Wednesdays and Sundays. And on football season from September until the Super Bowl, I work 7 days a week.
Wow. So you're still doing it all the time. Killing it.
So my off season is Wednesdays I jerk off a lot. Sundays I fucking jerk off some more. I don't have any rules on Wednesdays and Sundays. I try to have fun. My daughter's a big basketball player in New York City, and she's in AAU on a national team. She's a savage bitch, and she's a 2010 dimer, and she can really play. And
how old is she?
Believe it or not,
high school?
She's 15, starts on varsity.
Wow.
Where she want to go?
Tennessee?
Well, we'll see. She's really good. So she plays with the 16-17 national team, and she's 15. She's the only freshman. But they're all juniors and seniors. But it's a racket. Like, it's everything you ever heard about AAU. Like, 40 games, 12 tournaments, fly around the country. I'm really busy with this kid and basketball. And then every morning, I told you I run at 6 a.m. with a bunch of fucking D1 and NBA X guys. So I have no life. I play basketball. I watch my daughter play basketball. I do TV shows, and I gamble heavily. And now I'm a fan of you guys on Locked Up.
That's what it's all about. We love it, man. We appreciate it.
His name is Scott Ferrall. Check it out. Check out his show. Check out his website. Thanks for coming on, giving us a couple minutes, Scott.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, continued success. You guys are cool as shit. Keep doing your thing. Don't listen to anybody. You got a badass show, badass idea. I think it's titties. Keep rocking.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Awesome.
I love you guys. Peace out.
Thank you,
Thanks,
brother.
bud.
Later.
Appreciate it.
Later.
It's all saved, right?
Oh, wait. No, I think his has to save. I'll get him to go back on if he has to. He probably knows it. I'll tell him. Whoa!
I don't even know what to say.
Whoa! How about that? Oh, that was great. That was different. We've never done anything like that. We've never had anything like that on this show.
I feel like I need to go to confession.
Yeah, maybe maybe you should. Maybe you should.
No, that was really awesome. And then
great job.
The breakdown at the end of the games and who he wants. Who hopefully we can get that out. And our viewers can get some picks in for tonight. I already text people. I was like, "This is who you're betting tonight."
Now, special, great job, Scott Ferrall. Everybody, check out his website. He gives you winners. I don't give you winners, so you could watch this show for free and pick against me and probably get 60%, or you could go to him.
You're gonna want to look out for some of these clips on Twitter, on our. What was it? Our Instagram page. This is some good stuff. I don't even know. Yeah, too much. Good stuff.
And how about Brett? How about the fact that he's a fan of the show?
Dude.
Him and Mike Westhoff get together and watch the show together.
Yeah,
I heard.
fishing.
Scott Ferrall's not doing much fishing.
Oh, he is. Just not for the same catch.
So listen, we were going to go 20 minutes with him.
No,
we went
it's all
almost
we
the
got.
hour. So that's going to pretty much do it for us tonight. Enjoy the basketball, everyone.
Opening day this week. Baseball's back, baby.
For Brett Grasso, I'm Bob Walters. I'll talk to you Sunday, everybody. See ya.